morning, good people. It is a beautiful day. Welcome to B10 News. I am Uzay. It has been reported that there are interaction of organisms with the environment that comprise an ecosystem. Here's Alia with the story.
Hello, so reporting from the farm, I'm Alia Humaira. So what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is the interaction between populations as well as their physical environment. It is composed of abiotic and biotic components. The abiotic components are the non-living components such as water, soil, and atmosphere. The biotic components are the living things such as us, and they are categorized according to their food source, such as autotrophs and heterotrophs. So we have symbiosis too. What is symbiosis? So symbiosis is a close association between two different species over a long period of time. So there are three types of symbiotic relationships, which are parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism. So the parasitism is one of the species that can cause harm to other, but doesn't attempt to kill it, but whose health can range from slightly weakening them to killing them over time. And then they have two types of parasites, which are the endoparasites and the ectoparasites. What are both of these? So the small parasites is called the endoparasites, and then the larger parasites are called ectoparasites. And then we have commensalism. What is it? Okay, so commensalism is a symbiotic species in which one species is benefited and then the other is neither benefited or nor harmed. And then the mutualism is when both of the association benefits. And then next we have the predator-prey interactions. There are two types of prey defenses. The first one is the mechanism that thwart the possibility of being eaten by a predator, such as speed, protective armor, and thorns. And then the other one is mimicry. It is when one species resembles another species that possess an overt anti-predator defense. That's all for me. We'll be back with Uzay in the studio. Thank you.
Thank you, Alia. So there are some ways that autotroph, photoautotroph, and heterotroph obtain nutrient. So here is Nani with her story.
Thank you. What are autotrophs? Autotrophs are organisms that require only inorganic nutrients and an outside energy source to produce organic nutrients for their own use and for all the other members of a community. Producers are a type of autotroph because they produce food from inorganic nutrients. Autotrophs include photosynthetic organisms such as land plants and algae, which called photoautotroph. They possess chlorophyll and carry on photosynthesis in freshwater and marine habitats. What are heterotrophs? Heterotrophs are organisms that need perform organic nutrients they can use as an energy source. They are called consumer because they consume food that was generated by a producer. Herbivores are animals that graze directly on plants or algae. In terrestrial habitats, various insects are small herbivores. Antelopes and bison are large herbivores. In aquatic habitats, zooplankton are small herbivores. Various fishes and manatees are large herbivores. Carnivores feed on other animals. Various birds that feed on insects are carnivores. Omnivores are animals that feed on both plants and animals. Chickens, raccoons, and humans are examples of omnivores. Detritivores are organisms that feed on detritus, which consists of decomposing particles of organic matter. Earthworms, some beetles, termites, and ants are all terrestrial detritivores. Bacteria and fungi, including mushroom, are decomposers. They acquire nutrients by breaking down the organic matter, including animal waste. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Nani. A diagram of all the biotic components of an ecosystem illustrates that every ecosystem is characterized by two fundamental phenomena, which are energy flow and chemical cycling. It shows that energy flow through an ecosystem following various pathways and only in one direction. An organic nutrient pass from one component of ecosystem to another. Okay, now let's go live to Adia.
Okay, so thank you, Uzai. So we're back at the form again. So the energy flow in environment begins when producers absorb solar energy. The organic nutrients produced are used by themselves, and only a portion of them, which is about 10%, are passed to consumers to fuel their own metabolism, growth, and reproduction. Additional energy is lost through excretion, defecation, and organisms that die. Energy dissipates into environment as heat. And then we have food web. So what is food web? So food web, it represents interconnecting paths of energy flow within ecosystem. It describes trophic relationships. There are two types of food web, which are grazing food web and then the detrital food web. The grazing food web begins with the producer, meanwhile the detrital food web begins with detritus. Next, we have the trophic levels. It is a level of nutrients within a food web or chain. It is composed of all the organisms that feed at the same level in a food chain. The producers are the first one, and then the second one is the primary consumers, and then the third one is the secondary consumers. So that's all for me. We'll be back with Uzai at the studio. Thank you.
Okay, so that was it about energy flow, food chain, and trophic level. Moving on to the energy flow among population throughout food webs and ecological environments. Shortly, we will be going live with our reporter, Nani.
Thank you. Ecological pyramid. The flow of energy with large bruises between successive trophic levels is sometimes depicted as an ecological pyramid based on the number of organisms or the amount of biomass at each trophic level. Only about 10% of the energy of one trophic level is available to the next trophic level. 1,000 kg of plant material covers to 100 kg of herbivore tissue, which covers to 10 kg of first carnivores, which can support 1 kg of second level carnivores. This 10% rule explains why few top level carnivores can be supported in a food web. Pyramids of biomass. Pyramids of biomass eliminate size as a factor because biomass is the number of organisms multiplied by the dry weight of the organic matter within one organism. A large mass of plants support a medium mass of herbivores and a small mass of carnivores. In aquatic ecosystems where algae are the only producers, the herbivores may have a greater biomass than the producers because the algae are consumed at such a high rate. Pyramids which have more herbivores than producers are called inverted pyramids. Back to the studio.
Alright, thank you, Nani. Well, that's all we have today. I am Zay and thank you for your attention. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.